Yet another game to add to the pile of Unity games that ask for money yet offer nothing overly original. Tattletail is a horror that on the surface looks mildly interesting, but ends up being Slenderman meets Five Nights at Freddy's. With the rise of YouTube horror games created left, right and center, this is another one to add to that list. So teenagers who like PewDiePie and respect his opinion, don't bother watching my video, you aren't gonna like what I have to say. Tattletail is made by Waygetter Electronics and recently got released on Steam. It's claiming to be a survival horror game where you babysit your Tattletail, which is essentially a Furby. You play a kid who unwraps his Christmas present 5 nights before Christmas. The possessed Tattletail plays with the child, and in between, Mama Tattletail hunts you down. So not only do you have to survive 5 nights like Five Nights at Freddy's, you also have to deal with the unoriginal jump scares in the same vein as the evil animatronics jumping up to kill you. Tattletail is quick to introduce you to the mechanics of the game within the first night. Your Tattletail requires some micromanagement in the form of items located in different parts of the house. It needs to be fed, groomed, and have its batteries recharged. Lacking to do so will end up with Tattletail making a heap of noise, which will ultimately end in Mama Tattletail finding you. Or so you think, but I'll get into that in just a moment. Each night acts as a bunch of small fetch quests really. Find this, find that, and in between you'll have all these moments where you have to survive Mama looking for you. When Mama Tattletail is close, you may see red eyes and a scratching sound will play, and all you have to do is simply just kind of run away. It's not that scary, it's kind of just boring and repetitive, and the simple jump scares when you do fail is just the same thing over and over again. Now, some of these moments where you have to survive, you can clearly survive by just standing still, and it happens several times, and it really took me out of the world and the immersion was lost, where I thought that I was possibly going to be killed, and then I ultimately wasn't. Check this out, the game tells me to survive, so I move around a little bit and then pretty much stand still.
Give me a treat!
Nothing happens. In a horror game where the player is told to survive and then have it so easy to survive by simply standing still, it ruins any world that you may have created. Whilst later Mama is more mobile, I found it way too easy to maneuver around her. But one thing I really did like and respect were in these moments was the micromanagement of the Tattletail. If I wasn't keeping on top of these meters, Tattletail would be making a fuck ton of noise, and ultimately I would have been found, and it's a good excuse to move around the house in these moments where Mama is hunting you down. But when the jump scare is weak and the atmosphere isn't that scary, I don't know, it's just kind of a little bit tiresome. But look, it is a simple yet neat mechanic in a pretty weak game. The overall aesthetics of Tattletail is fairly simplistic and trying to be 90s, but don't convince me of that so well. In a game set in the 90s, I can hardly remember anything that reminded me of the 90s aside from that carpet in the kid's room. I remember playing Gone Home and rummaging through that house, and I loved the attention to detail that was put into that experience. And look, I understand that this isn't an exploration walking sim, but a little bit more detail would have been nice. The VHS treatment, however, was well done, and I did like that aspect, but when I got to play on the VHS, the whole Five Nights at Freddy's thing when I was playing with the cameras, come on guys, it's been done. Find an original idea. The sound was well done, and the Tattletail, even though it is your ally, did have some sense of it being kind of creepy, as Furbies have always been. Mama Tattletail's voice I thought was really well done, and reminded me of the toys that we used to all own in the 90s that had audio inside them. But what the hell is up with the kids' footsteps? They were like so loud, like actual thuds. If this kid is waking up in the middle of the night, wouldn't he be barefoot making zero sound? I get that sound plays an aspect of this game, but Jesus, pick a different sound to use. Each night didn't really offer anything unique, and the overall story just was kind of your typical get rid of the evil spirits motif. I've seen it before, played it before, and nothing really made this game enjoyable for me. I can see many YouTubers making thumbnails for these videos where they're pulling over-exaggerated faces. Oh wait, that already exists. This is another YouTube horror game that adds very little horror for those who are actually into horror. I actually didn't finish the game as I was that bored, and I did ironically go to YouTube to finish off the game. But it seems like I didn't miss out on much anyway. The game sells for $5, and for the amount of polish that has been put into it, yeah, I get it, that's fine. If you're a kid and you want to spend money, go for it. And I'd recommend it to teenagers who like unoriginal horror. But for those who like atmosphere and original ideas that ignite a new form of terror whilst playing it, I'd recommend you pick up another game. A game that I can recommend is Among the Sleep. Whilst the game is quite cartoony, there are some pretty neat stealth sequences that kind of reminded me of Amnesia in some respects. If you like what you're seeing here and you want to see more, hit the like and sub button. This is Sean Maurice from Hihu, thanks for watching.